Alright, so you probably saw the thumbnail of this and the title and thought that, hey, this doesn't look like a case study, right? So in this video, I actually want to introduce you guys to a new series that me and my wife actually started a couple weeks ago. That at first we were just putting on Instagram, but after recording this episode, I realized it would be something good to actually put on my YouTube as well. Only because this is the way I broke it down in my head, right? So I feel like my channel is all about helping you grow as a creative entrepreneur, to be more precise. And I want you guys to follow your passion, follow your truth, and be happy. But sometimes you can't be happy creatively when you're not happy at home. And I feel like this series that me and my wife have called Keep It Light, or Keepin It Lite, is just for that. It kind of helps you make sure all your stuff is right at home. So you're happy at home, and if you're happy as a creative, happy as an entrepreneur, then that should lead to overall happy life. So yeah, I feel like this is something that you enjoy. These are conversations that, are necessary to grow as just people in general. So this is the third episode of Keepin It Lite, but the first episode that we're gonna have on YouTube. And this one is all about balancing work life and family life, especially coming from the vantage point of being a man. So enjoy. What's going on, people? This is Elle Harris, and this is
Elle Harris.
And this is another episode of, what was it?
That was my timeout. Why you always gotta sound like real host-like?
Because I'm the host.
That's like the way your voice like, what's up, people? It's like,
What I'm supposed to sound like?
I don't know. It's just like this that comes out when you say it. Like I feel it from your soul.
Why don't you do it?
It won't sound like that.
Go ahead.
Hello, everyone. See how different that is? Then, what's up, people? This is Elle Harris, and
Why can't I? How do you want me to talk?
it's okay. It's just, it's just like a lot of energy. Go ahead.
Hello, people. This is Elle Harris, and this is
Elle Harris.
That don't even feel right.
It don't. So let's start over.
What's going on, people? This is Elle Harris, and this is
Elle Harris.
And this is another episode of Keepin It Lite. We actually came up with the title like 5 minutes ago. We were thinking between Keepin It Lite and what's this thing called? Or something? What do we say?
I forgot that quick.
It must not have been that. Yeah, we are getting old. It must not have been that great.
But
so,
I like Keepin It Lite.
Keepin It Lite.
It feels real light.
It feels super light.
Oh, why did we name it Keepin It Lite?
Go ahead.
We named it Keepin It Lite because generally when a woman is ready, well, I won't say just a woman because women probably do this sometimes too, but when one person is ready to commit to a relationship, there is one party that at times may say things like, why do we have to put a name on it? Let's just keep it light, see where it goes. So that's what we're doing. We're just keeping it light, see where it goes.
We're definitely seeing where it goes. So, I wonder if women actually do that though.
I've definitely done it.
Back when you sat like a dude.
My mom called me.
I know her. She definitely called you and asked you, would you raise like a man?
Mm-hmm.
You should have told her you had balls too.
She'll see this one, you can tell her. You just told her.
Your daughter has balls. Alright, so today's episode, video, rendition, all that good stuff is, we're talking about, alright, let's take it back. Let me give it a little bit of backstory, right? So, I know a couple guys who actually fall in the category of they work all day, every day, and they don't really have time, or they don't make time for family or the woman in their life. So during my journeys, I've met a lot of people who kind of fall in that category. So I felt like that would be a good conversation to have because men don't normally have this conversation with one another. And I feel like, even though I don't feel like it's right, I completely understand where guys come from when they actually do that. So I kind of want to, to speak on it from both sides of the coin.
Okay.
So I was actually that guy for a long time, and sometimes I kind of fall in that category of working all day every day and don't really put aside any time to actually spend with my wife or really just spend time with myself. And the reason I understand that is because, especially when you work for yourself or when you have moments when you don't have money come in, you don't feel like you feel less of a man. So when you feel like you can't, add to a household or, be able to do the things that you really want to do for your wife, for your girlfriend, your lady, whatever, your lady friend, as Cap says. He's a old nigga. But you feel like you can't do those things for your lady. Like I said, it makes you feel like you're not, makes you feel less of a man. So when it comes time when you actually feel like you're on and you can actually make money, you feel like you need to go all in because it could easily go back to the time frame when you wasn't making money. So I feel like that's what a lot of guys think about when they's like, you know what, they just put their head down and just working all day, every day. What are your thoughts?
I think it's all BS.
Is it?
Yeah, it is. I think you make time for what you want to make time for. I understand the need to want to work and take and prepare and blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, when you really want to make time for something, you make time for it. I.e., when we first started dating, it was a problem for you that I was never around. Like, I was always busy. And
you said it before. I don't really remember.
I bet you don't. But you said that I was always busy. I'm sorry, people. My dog is welling out. Come on. But you said that I was...
Hey, you don't do that.
You gotta be kidding me right now.
Sit, yeah.
Okay. You said that I was always busy, so, because I was doing a lot, like, was I in school? No, I wasn't at school. I wasn't in school at the time, but I was, managing a dance team.
You was in a choir.
I was not in a choir.
You had a mentee.
I had a mentee. I was head of the youth ministry at my church, but I was definitely not in the choir. And I went to the gym like 5 days a week. So my life was just consumed with a whole lot of community service activities. So, with that being said, you felt like there wasn't enough time spent with you. So I had a choice to make. I could have continued on my track of life or made more time for you. When you care about someone, even if your life is already balanced in the routine that you have going on, you make adjustments for that person. So everything else doesn't really matter to me when people say things like, oh, I got to do this, or, I'm making time, I'm spending money, like I'm working to make money so that I can have time with my family. Well, what if you miss time? That time that you're away, what if someone else creeps in? That's how people get cheated on. Mm-hmm. When you spend so much time out, people will find something else to fill that time. Or they may fill that time with something else, not a person, and realize they don't need you. So I think it's very dangerous if you can't sacrifice. I don't care if it's an hour. Like being able to have those conversations. And I think we go back to something we talked about last week. Men don't communicate. So I know that there is a thing of pride when, especially with entrepreneurship, with men or I don't know, maybe just like a regular 9 to 5, whatever job you have.
Even if you work a regular job, you feel that way as well.
If you're not able to provide the way that you want to provide, it may be hard to sit down and tell a woman that. But how do you properly care for your family if you're not able to have those conversations? How do you properly, because my thing is this, if you say, look, I know we haven't done this in a while, but if I can commit 2 hours out of the week to doing this with you and just like turning my phone off and it's just you and I during this time frame, does that work? Because I feel like with the conversation, you never know that a woman may be more apt to understand that their time is being sacrificed for the greater good of the family.
Yeah.
But if you don't have those conversations, you don't know. If you're just out here doing things and you expect women to just be like, oh, okay, I'm okay with that, that's crazy.
No. I completely get you. So not saying that I, disagree with anything you're saying, but because I definitely do. But I feel like on the opposite side of the spectrum, a lot of what's embedded in a man is to protect and provide. So when you feel like, I feel like,
If you're always at work, you can't protect.
true, but I can't provide.
But the first thing that women want is safety. That's our number one thing that we want is protection. We can provide for ourselves. We've been showing that for years and years and years.
But it's not about what you feel like you want for yourself.
It is.
No, it's not.
Okay.
Because even if you could provide for yourself, if, say you made way more money than I did, even if I can contribute to those bills, I feel like a man. But if you made way more and I wasn't bringing in anything, I felt like you might as well just be with somebody else because I can't provide anything to the household.
Financially.
But you're thinking of it from a woman's perspective, what women think of. From a man's perspective, we feel like less than a man.
Okay. I hear you. I understand that. But I think one of the biggest issues is that I think men think I'm doing what I think you would want me to do.
It's actually on the man. I feel like this is what makes us feel good. It's not really about what women are cool with, what women. It's about, because I know I've been there, and I know a couple guys who've been there where you can't do what you're supposed to do. You get depressed, or you get like down on yourself and all that type of stuff. Because even though the woman might be like, oh, that's cool, like, I got it, I'm holding it down. But you feel like you can't, be the one to provide for your household. Like you said, you feel less than. And I've definitely had moments of like where I felt like depressed just because I couldn't do the things that I really wanted to do. So it's not really about what the woman is cool with. It's more about how we feel as a man.
Okay. So even if a woman tells you, like, I see that you're doing everything that you possibly could be doing to make your dreams come true or to provide for our family, it still doesn't make a man feel any better?
Nah, not at all.
Excuse me.
Okay. But I don't think it does. Well, I know it doesn't.
Okay.
It's more about how we feel about ourselves. Because once we feel good, then we can do all those other things. In most cases, which should be the case.
Okay. I still think it's BS, but I understand what you're saying. I understand. I just feel like men use it as an excuse sometimes. Like, I get it. I get how you feel, and I'm not disregarding how you feel. But I still feel like you have to make time.
Oh, no. Like I said, once again, I definitely feel where you're coming from, and I 100% agree with you. Yeah. I'm just trying to be devil's advocate and speak from the man's perspective because, like I said, I've been there. I've had conversations with guys who are been there or who are there now, and I completely get it.
So when do you stop sacrificing the time? It's almost like a drug dealer.
Yeah.
Right? Like when I gotta hit this, but then when you hit it,
it's like, I got something else.
Yeah.
I feel like for me, it was when I felt like me working was a never-ending cycle. When it felt like no matter what I did, it was something else coming up or something else I was stressed about. And then I realized that having the time to be able to spend with you and just really just be able to like spend some good quality time with you made me a little less stressed. Or gave me time away from work, so when I actually go back to work, I have a little bit more clarity in the things I do. And I can like shut stuff down or, whatever the case may be. And I realized I didn't want to be at the beck and call of clients. And I feel like when you're working all day and every day and all night, that's what you end up becoming.
Yeah.
So now I love it when I can say, hey, after 5 o'clock it's a wrap for me. Like, I got somewhere to be. I got to spend time with my wife. Ain't really nothing that you can say unless you're an asshole, and then that's a completely different case altogether.
Can we just say that, this quick little nugget? When you have your 9 to 5, you have a boss. Your employer is your boss. But when you start working for yourself, your clients literally become your boss.
If you let them.
Yeah.
If you let them.
They do.
So
especially in your beginning days when you don't have the ability to just, especially think about from what you just said from a man's point of view, if you're trying to make money, you're not going to be cutting off everybody and push people away. So if you're not coming in with a strong like boundary game set up, they can easily become, because if they calling you all times, because there was times you had people calling all hours of the night, and I'm just like, you're too accessible.
Yeah.
Like, that's just crazy. But, you know, people feel like they have that control. They feel like when they spend their money, they have control over you.
I know we get into a completely different conversation now, but I feel like even with that, that's more so of what you allow people to do. Because once I stopped allowing it, people start to like respect you more.
But what made you stop allowing it?
Because I hated people calling me at 7 o'clock in the morning talking about, hey, we need this, we need that. And I'm like, yo, I'm not even up. So it just puts me on edge at the beginning of the day.
Yeah.
Or people calling me like at 11 o'clock at night, like, hey, we need this by tomorrow morning. And I'm like, yo, we had all day today, all day yesterday to kind of talk about this. And then just because that's something that you just thought about, you putting on me to kind of get it done. And you don't really...
So sorry.
People just don't believe on putting their phones on vibrate anymore. I say, you know, trying to run a professional thing right now. But
sorry, I'm a busy woman.
I forget what I was saying. You remember what
people calling 7 o'clock in the morning and you get tired of that? And
oh, yeah. But yeah. People, just because somebody thinks of something at that moment, they want to call you about it and you have to hop on it at that moment. But I don't work for you. I work for myself. You're a client. So even with that being said, I try to over communicate and say, all right, these are the things that we have coming up. So it ain't really no room for you to kind of like slip something in, especially not at 7 o'clock in the morning or 11 o'clock at night. Like there's office hours that you could have said that same thing in. And I really just don't like people putting me like under the gun like that, just because I have other stuff going on. So my schedule is kind of already mapped out for the week. So when you say, hey, I need something tomorrow, it's like, it's not going to work like that.
Oh, okay.
Well, I try not to let it work
like
like
that.
that.
Yeah, let's change that.
Try the
keep
option
it funky.
word. Yeah. You don't even say that.
I know, I was trying something out.
Yeah, you don't even say that.
Something new.
Yeah.
Let's keep it funky. My mother-in-law's been staying with us. She talks old, so.
She don't say that either.
Don't sound like her?
No.
I like it. Y'all tell me if y'all like it.
Okay. But yeah. So that's what that is. Anything else you want to talk about?
Not about that. You was about to go to something else before we got off topic.
No, I wasn't. That was pretty much it for me. That's all I had.
No, but you were saying outside of men just like working. Oh, we were talking about the double standard. Because I was saying like for men.
Oh. Yeah.
So for men are able to say like, I'm working, I'm doing this for the home. But women, especially women with like children and stuff like that, they're not able to have that same flexibility to sacrifice time. Like if they're working a job that's very demanding, they still have to go home and respond to children. They still have to go home and respond to a husband.
Do they?
Yes.
Do they though?
Yes, they do.
Because, and the reason I said the do they is because I feel like, or I've seen a lot of situations where it seems like from outside looking in, that when women have like their career and they get their child, they forget about their husband. Have you seen something like that?
Where women forget about their husband?
Yeah, or they don't really put too much time and energy into their husband when they have, they might have a work or their career or their business and then they have a child. Mm-hmm. So the man is like the last thing on the totem pole to get dealt with. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Am I right and wrong with that observation?
I can see where you're coming from. I don't know anyone personally. but I could see why that would happen.
Yeah.
I think that I always think about, like, when I watch, I know TV is TV, but not even just TV, in real life too, when I see men who detach from their children, meaning like once a child is born, they can walk away easily and not care anymore. Women, I don't necessarily believe there are a lot of women who have that same ability, unless there's some type of trauma that has triggered them to be that way, or some type of mental illness that has triggered them to detach from their children.
Okay, I think we're talking about two different things, unless you're going somewhere else.
I'm going somewhere.
Okay.
So I feel like women feel that it is their duty. If no one else in the house is taken care of, it's their child that they have to take care of, because the child can't take care of themselves. Mm-hmm. So I feel like probably similar to what you just said. You're sacrificing time at home to take care of things financially. Mm-hmm. Women sacrifice time with men to make sure that their child is reared and taken care of properly. Now, that's not going to happen with every woman, because I've seen some stuff. But I think a lot of women do that, especially women who feel like, I could probably spend a little less time here. My husband wouldn't mind if I make sure that the baby is okay.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that happens. But even with that said, after a long day at a demanding job, a woman is not going to necessarily look forward to her husband going home and taking care of the children.
Say that last part one more time.
After a long day at a demanding job, a woman is not going to necessarily go home and look forward to her husband handling the children. She's going to feel like the children is going to need something from her, so she's going to make time for the children.
Okay, true. But I feel like I'm still speaking on a woman caring for her husband.
But I'm telling you why she's not.
No, I get it. Yeah. I get it. But that still doesn't negate the fact that a woman still could do all those things and not care for her husband.
Who would you want to be cared for most? Who would you want to be cared for first, yourself or your child? Now, go ahead and answer that question first. Because it makes me think about, like, during, like, a long time ago, they used to say, like, the man always eats first. Because it was, like, the whole thought of, you take care of the man first, and then the children come later. But I don't know when that stopped.
That's a deeper question.
Yeah.
Deeper, darker. So you said, who would I want to be taken care of first?
Yourself or the children.
All right. I would want my kids to be taken care of first, but I don't want to be, if my kids are number one, I don't want to be number 7 on that list.
Yeah.
So if kids are 1, I'm cool with being a good solid 1B or 2. Don't put me number 8 though.
So who do you think would be first in your life? And I think, I don't know how hypothetically you can answer this question, but would it be your wife or your child?
Sometimes, I know we got to wrap this up pretty soon, but sometimes when I think of questions like that, I think of not necessarily the person that needs me the most, but who is the person that I need to give energy to, so then that person can take care of other stuff, if that makes sense. So
how would a child take care of other stuff?
No. So that I'm saying, when I say that, I say, instead of me saying, all right, let me make sure my kids are good and not worry about my wife. But what I'm thinking of it as is, and this is hypothetical since we don't have kids, but I'm thinking of it as, if I give my energy and time to you,
Aries.
If I give my energy and time to you and make sure you're good, you're, well energized and all that stuff, then that probably allows you more bandwidth and more mental capacity to do other things.
Absolutely.
Right. So I think that's hypothetically the way I would think of it.
I think it should always be the man. The spouse. And when I was younger, I didn't think that. Like, I always wondered why my mom would put, like, my stepdad before us. But I understood as a grown-up, like, especially, like, following, like, Christian, philosophies or whatever. The man comes first and the children come second. So I think that, you know, I know me. I know that when we do have children, I'm going to be weird, very high strung, because I already
Ain't too much change. Ain't too much change.
Well, it's the same OG. But I know that there are a lot of things that I have issues with, and generally what most people do when they have children, they raise themselves. They raise the person they wish they raise their children the way they wish they would have been raised, which is dangerous. But I feel like I'm going to have some of those issues. So what I would like to do is be able to find a balance and use communication as a way to make sure that I am not giving more of my all to my child than I am to my husband, because I know how easily that could happen. That's why I'm not negating that it doesn't happen. I think it does. But I think that sometimes you end up doing that because you have at some point felt like you didn't get all of that attention. So you try to give what you didn't have.
Okay.
So, yeah. I don't even know how we got weird.
Yeah. You took it in. I just hopped on your train. But I feel like this is a perfect point to wrap this up.
Okay.
So, who's this week's sponsor?
This video is sponsored by Tostitos.
Do your YouTube voice.
What's my YouTube voice?
You're just about to do it. Go ahead.
No, I wasn't.
Go ahead, do it.
This week's voice.
You got it?
This week's video is sponsored by Tostitos. Did I say it right? Tostitos. Tostitos. That's not how you say it.
It is how you say it. Tostitos.
Say it like a human. I mean, like an American.
So now Mexican people aren't human?
That is not what I said. Don't do that.
Tostitos. I took Spanish.
That's not how you say it.
And I was Santiago in Spanish class.
Were you really Santiago?
I was Santiago.
You look like a Santiago.
So, this week's video is sponsored by Tostitos and Sis Save Your Coins. All right, we're done with this episode.